New video time! Guys, I am Yard Offside FM, and it is very nice to see you again. This is episode 8 of The Triumph, my Football Manager 2017 Let's Play series as Hell's Teeth FC in the Tuvaluan A Division. So guys, thanks for coming back for episode 8. This is the start of season 2. You'll remember in the last episode, it was episode 7. We finished season 1 with Hell's Teeth. And it was a disappointing result, to say the least. Lost in the Christmas Cup final to Nui. We didn't manage to collect any silverware in this, our first season, but we got very, very close. Third place in the league, almost got into the OFC Champions League. We only just lost on penalties to Nui, so it does give us a bit of hope for the next season. We will be taking on Lakena United in today's match. It's the start of the A Division season, for us at least, and we've had a few friendlies. I'll go over these very, very quickly. Manu Laiva was the first friendly that we played. You will see that we did lose this result 1-0. We lost this game. It was a little bit disappointing, but I did rotate the squad pretty heavily, and we introduced a new tactic that I was not at all satisfied with. We'll talk about that new tactic. I'm sure we won't be using it today against Lakena United, but as you can see, we had some serious problems getting ourselves in front of the goal, fashioning chances, and Manu Laiva getting a goal right before halftime. It's only a friendly. It's not the end of the world. Against Pioneer, we did bounce back. Samaya Moeaga got himself a brace, a penalty, and an additional goal right after that. And then Ololofacio managed to put himself on the score sheet. He's one of the regens that we brought into the club back in September. And he's not great, but he can play in a lot of different positions. He's quite versatile, and it was good to see him get himself a goal, hopefully get his confidence up. And then Talcoea Filioma finished things off with a good team goal to close that match off. 4-2 is the final result. Hame Mimi beat us again, of course. They always manage to. We played pretty well in this game. Samaya Moeaga put us up in the 24th minute, but then they managed to take control in the second half. Again, they always seem to do that against us, and they got a winner from Togavai Stanley in the 90th minute. It's a friendly. It's not the end of the world. That's what I just tried to keep telling myself. Finally, we closed out the preseason with a absolutely superb game against Nauti. We won this friendly 4-1. Moeaga with a hat trick, and Vaisua Feoto, who's one of our new transfers, we'll talk about them in a little bit, he closed things off for us in the 75th minute. It was a good victory over Nauti, who are projected to rebound from their horrible season last year and be close to the top of the A Division. So those are the friendlies that we've gone through, guys. The A Division started, I think, a week ago or a couple weeks ago. There have been some results, as you can see. Pioneer currently leading the score sheet after a win over, I don't remember who it was. You would assume Nui, since they're bottom of the table. At any rate, Pioneer and Tofaga and Newtow all tied for the top of the A Division. Obviously, we win this game against Lakena United today. We'll be right up there with them. I do also want to talk briefly, guys, it's not listed here because we weren't in the competition. The NBT Cup has also happened. This is, of course, the Super Cup between the winners of the A Division and the Christmas Cup. Nui, who defeated us in the Christmas Cup final, you can see there. It was 2-1 to Tofaga, however. Tofaga, winners of the A Division, and they performed quite well. Both of these squads, since they finished first and second in the A Division, were in the OFC Champions League. That competition is currently still in progress, but the group stage is over and both Tuvalu-based teams are out. Let's have a look at that very, very quickly. We don't want the semifinal because there's no teams that we care about involved. Here we are. So as you can see, Tofaga here in Group C, they played very well. They won 2 matches. They lost their first match. Who did they lose against? Did they lose to the eventual group winners? Magenta? Do you know? I don't remember. Let's check their schedule. They did lose to Magenta 2-1 in the first match of that group stage. They won their next 2 games, however. Unfortunately, they lost out on the first tiebreaker, which is head-to-head results. And so they lost out to Magenta and Venus. Magenta of New Caledonia, and Venus of Tahiti. Niue, on the other hand, they did manage to win one game. I think it was their last game. They were pretty poor. This was a much more difficult group, as Auckland City are the defending O-League holders. It was always going to be impossible for Niue to get out of it, but to get themselves a win, they'll be pleased with that. So I mentioned that we did introduce a new tactic. I've called it the Fenuatapu 4-3-2-1. It's sort of a Christmas tree formation, a very narrow Christmas tree formation. I wanted to introduce a tactic that seemed a little more defensively solid, has these fullbacks here, but it has been very defensively solid, but we've been so disastrously poor in terms of fashioning chances with this tactic in the preseason. I doubt we'll be using it in the A division when there's more at stake. Today we'll be going with our very, very aggressive attacking Owendo 3-4-3, which got some very, very good results for us in the preseason. You'll remember last year I kind of stayed away from this during the A division because I wasn't satisfied with how we were performing with it. Seemed to be learning the tactic a little more, and it's getting us some really good results. We used it for most of that Nauti friendly, which we won 4-1. Very good result for us, and I think I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll have equally good results here against Lakena United today. We'll talk about who's going to be starting in a little bit. We'll do that once we get into the start of the preseason. Not really anything new to update you here in terms of the team report. We do have a worrying number of weaknesses, but this is just according to my assistant, who is not the brightest bulb in the world, so we won't worry about it too much. Talking of my assistant, he has stayed with the club, but I have made some staff changes. Our coach, essentially a fitness coach, basically, is what he is. We've replaced him and brought in Timali Samaya. It wasn't that much better, but I wanted somebody who... let's just bring him up. I wanted somebody who was a little bit better in terms of judging player ability and player potential. He's a little bit better in that department. He's a better attacking coach as well, which is another thing that I prioritize. And he's also better at working with youngsters, though that's not a hugely important attribute for the coach role. We've also completely replaced our scouting team. We've brought in Malesi Sio and Kapoa Tini Lau. These guys are both dramatically better than our previous scouts, and so I'm hopeful that we'll be locating some better talent, as I really do use the scouting system to find incoming transfers pretty much exclusively. As for training, not really that much unusual to report. We're currently on balance, but we were working on fitness and tactical earlier in the pre-season. As you would expect, I've amped up the intensity of that training, and I'm happy to see that most of the squad has not gotten too pissed off about it. And I have a hypothesis for why that is happening. We'll talk about that in a bit. As for transfers, guys, we have been pretty understated when it comes to our transfer business. You can see here that there's a couple transfers that I was trying to work on. They've both collapsed just because the players didn't want to move here. This guy is Dimitri Asele. I was looking for him in Gabon. He's a regen that we discovered in Gabon in Africa. I've done a bunch of scouting, not scouting, but regen hunting in Africa. I looked in Ivory Coast, Ghana. As experienced FM players know, you do tend to find some pretty good regens pretty early on in your FM saves in Africa, so that's always a place that I recommend looking. But as I say, we are a amateur club still, and these guys don't want to leave their home country unless they're going to be playing for a semi-professional or professional club. So I think that's something that we're going to have to sort out before we can start bringing in some really amazing regens from abroad. We have made some transfers, but they're fairly understated here, guys. It looks like our first transfer is listed over here. Uota Ale came in at the very start of the January transfer window. He plays for Hama Mimi. He's a very high reputation player in the A division, but if we'll just have a look at him here, he's really not that amazing. I knew that when I was bringing him in. He's got some okay physicals, pretty pacey, but he leaves a lot to be desired in the mental and definitely in the technical department. I really just brought him in as sort of cover for these sort of advanced midfielder positions where Lapayo and Tui traditionally play. Just want to have some good cover. I brought him in as a backup. He knows his role. I know his role. So I'm happy to get him in. And as I say, he is considered to be a high-profile player in the A division, and our board is still evaluating us on bringing in high-profile signings, so they were very pleased that we managed to do that. We've also brought in some sort of, well, I mean, these three guys here, they're much more developing players for the future, with the exception perhaps of Naisali Alasana. Let's have a look first at Vaisua Feoto. Feoto and his compatriot, what's his name, Talogo, these guys were really sort of developing players for the future. I noticed them on Regen Day, and I have a system that I can talk about maybe for this season's Regen Day in a few episodes, but basically I evaluate players on a few attributes that I like to see, and I just do a player search by certain attributes. And I noticed Feoto here has great determination, okay teamwork, very good flair, that's always nice to see, and 12 finishing. So, he's not an amazing player, but he's got good ratings in a lot of fairly important attributes that I rate highly. And as I mentioned, he did score, I think that was in our most recent friendly against Nauti. Oops, I opened the wrong tab. Feoto, yes, got himself on the score sheet against Nauti. Didn't Talogo score as well somewhere else? No. He got himself an assist. We won't be able to see which goal, but he got himself an assist in this game against Pioneer. As for Talogo, let's go have a look at him. He's quite a different player to Feoto. He's much shorter, so he's really going to be more of a sort of, he's apparently doesn't have the attributes to be rated at it, but I see him more as sort of a false nine type of player, much more mobile, maybe trequartista type of guy. As you can see, he's okay as a poacher. And he's got very good bravery, very good work rate, very different sort of skill set from Feoto, but equally promising, I think. His physicals have been increasing a little bit in training, which is excellent to see, as there's a little bit left to be desired. His balance is horrible, his strength is horrible, but he's improving in them, and that's what we want to see, guys. So, a little bit disappointing to see his determination going down. That's been happening squad-wide, and I suspect it has to do with our personality, but not much we can do about that. At any rate, Talogo developing regen for the future. Now, Naisali Alasana, this is a guy who basically was genned into the game with all of the, with everything that you want to see in a developing prospect. As you can see, already 3-star current ability for our first team. Great bravery, great aggression, great marking, pretty good natural fitness, though it's on the decline. His strength is going up. I think this is, I mean, he's already basically a first team center back for us, and I think he's going to be with the club for a very long time. This Naisali Alasana really, I feel, has the potential to be one of the best players in the A division someday. Could improve a lot in the future, as you can see. And then Aimasu Sio, this is by far our highest profile signing of this transfer window. We brought him in on deadline day because I decided, you know what, let's completely revamp the defense, really bring in the best players that we possibly can. Very good in the physicals department, pretty good with decisions, which is pretty important for, definitely important for an anchorman in central midfield where he can, or defensive midfield where he can play. A little bit less important at center back, although I think if we set this to the cover role, or I should say the stopper role, that's pretty important there. No, I guess not. I'm completely wrong about that. So you feel free to ignore all of the information I give you from here on out, because I don't know which attributes are important for which role. At any rate, Aimasu Sio, 5-star rating for the first team. Is an amazing player, already in the Tuvaluan national team. However, very bad news on the Aimasu Sio front, as he's out with a broken foot for 3 to 4 months. This happened in the first friendly of the preseason. Yeah, guys, I knew it the moment he went down in that match. I thought, oh, he's out for 6 months. And lo and behold, he is out for 6 months. So our best signing, completely out. We're going to have to be doing without him essentially until well into the middle of the A-Division season. Disappointing to see, but what are you going to do? These things happen. We can only hope that he's not injury-prone, because that would really be disastrous for us. I think that's all I really wanted to talk about. There's a few, minor things that I want to go through just before we get into this Lakena United game. The first thing is we have convinced our board to increase basic junior, or to increase our junior coaching. It was like pulling teeth, guys. I had to pull out every little complaint that I possibly could. They've shot down every other request for improvement at the club that I have made, including improving the professional status. But I'm pleased that at least we managed to increase our junior coaching. Now, junior coaching, if you don't know, guys, that is essentially, it affects the current ability of the regens that come into your club on regen day. If you want to improve their potential ability, you have to widen your youth recruitment network, and that's still at limited. We haven't improved that, but we have managed to improve our junior coaching. It is at basic now. That's good to see. We now have the best junior coaching in the A division, as you can see. I'll just toggle through the other teams in the A division. You can see everybody else at minimal, so we now at least have this one up on all of the other teams in the A division. We will be bringing in players to to the first team, really, because there is no there's just not, there's too much fixture congestion in order to have a reserve or U21 league. So we're going to be bringing in regens that have at a higher current ability than other teams in the A division, and hopefully that's something that we can use to really get a leg up. In terms of board confidence, they're still pretty pleased with my leadership, pretty pleased with club philosophies. Obviously, they've mentioned the successes of last season are fresh on their mind still. They're happy that our club stature has gone up by 3%. That's just as a result of our performance in various competitions. I'm very pleased with our high-profile signings, as I mentioned. They're loving that we managed to sign CO. They liked the Alasana signing, and they're okay with how we're doing on set pieces. I don't think we really have managed to do anything in the preseason friendlies from set pieces, but we did create a few chances, so they're probably waiting until the season starts to really start judging us on that. As you can see, the fans' reaction to our results is what you'd expect, kind of up and down from the 2 wins and the 2 losses. And as I mentioned, in terms of transfer activity, fans love the CO and Alasana signings, and they're okay with Tologo, Feoto, and Ale. There are a few signings that we made in the middle of last season that they're quite upset about. Katepu Stanley, they're very angry about. Stanley's a difficult player to evaluate because he is pretty pants in terms of his coach rating. He doesn't tend to perform very well in games. You can see his form pretty dreadful. But I look at his attributes and I think, well, okay, there's a lot of unevenness. He's got off the ball 1, positioning 1, composure 2, balance 1, but then he's got other attributes that are very, very high. Teamwork, work rate, his pace and acceleration are pretty good, pretty decent bravery, great natural fitness. And then his technicals, woeful. So he's a player that I can't quite make up my mind about. I still see why I signed him. I see why I brought him in, because he does have some attributes that make him a really dangerous-looking player. So I've kept him in the squad for this A Division season. The fans not very happy about that. They're just not happy with him as a signing in general. Not sure why they're unhappy about the Tapugao Jr. signing, as he's been really a defensive stalwart for us, but who cares what the fans think, right? Who cares? Just a bunch of losers frittering their money away on alcohol and yelling. So finances. Finances are in great shape, as you can see here. They've been increasing steadily. A big part of that is we've signed a new sponsorship deal. We'll talk about that in a bit, as I believe that's under that tab. And gate receipts have gone down, obviously, because it's been the off season. We've had a few months off. Those will come back up, and our income should continue to be very good. We've had an increase on our tax bill, guys. That's probably because we've gotten a little tiny bit of money from winning competitions, and also, because of our expenditure on other things. We continue to spend a lot on just, miscellaneous match day expenses, and ground maintenance has continued to be a big part of our bill. That's just because, you've got 12 A Division teams all playing at the Tuvalu Sports Ground. The pitch deteriorates so quickly, and it has to be relayed like 2, 3, 4 times a season. It's pretty nuts. So as I said, guys, we've added an additional kit sponsor. That's helped as a boon to our finances, and we are projected to have a balance of 132 grand at the end of the looks like the 2019 season, I would assume. So things still looking very promising financially for the future. So I think that's everything, guys. Let's get into this match here. Sorry about the long introduction, but I wanted to cover everything. There's a lot that's happened in the start to the season, and I wanted to cover as much as I could. I'm sure I've forgotten a fair bit, but I've covered the major things at the very least. So as you can see, Lakena United have never gotten a victory against us. It's the first time for everything, and hopefully that first time is not today. We want to continue our unbeaten run from the end of last season in the A Division. We'll see if we can can do that today. I'm pretty optimistic, as I mentioned. As you can see, guys, the pitch is okay. We've got a great number of tickets sold, 588. That's pretty good, given that we average maybe 400 or 500. So that's pretty good. 91 degrees Fahrenheit. That's, I think, 30-ish Celsius. And we have a pretty lenient referee, as is pretty common in Tuvalu. So let's get into our team here, guys. Did I remember to switch it back over to the Owendo? Yes, I did. As you can see, we have Mayo Tui Tapase, our first-team goalkeeper. Really, really good. His star rating is improved slightly since the end of last season. Looks like his attributes are going up. He's held in high esteem by just about everyone in Tuvalu, and I'm very happy that we managed to sign him. He's been really solid. As I mentioned, Alasana walks straight into the first team. He's 17 years old, and he's already, first-team quality. Tapagao Jr. will be next to him, playing in the more covering defensive center-back role. And Tito Tui, one of our good regens, we've talked about him from the end of last season, he'll be stepping in to cover for the injured Aimasu Sio. In the midfield, we have Olalofa Sio, another regen from back in September. He's going to be covering the right wing, as you can see, pretty well suited to that. And one of the major positives of him as a player, he's very flexible in terms of his positions and his roles. We'll have Fakasega and Pearson in midfield as usual. Malesi Eliu over on the left. Eliu, by the way, has had a very good preseason. I'm hoping he continue that. I don't agree with these form ratings at all. I think he's been much better than that. Very, very solid. And then, as usual, Moeaga, James Lapayo, Tamafai Tui, the usual complement of striking excellence in there. We've left Ale out of the team today, probably because I'm really tactically speaking, I'm aiming to go with this very aggressive attacking tactic and then drop back into the Tengako after we've scored. It's a bit of a gamble. If we go down, we don't really have any good attacking options aside from Feoto we could bring in. But that's how it goes. We're making a gamble. You're always making gambles in FM, I feel, at least. We've got some good defensive options as well. Half our team, looks like our entire team, actually, struggling for match sharpness. We tried with the friendlies, but it's just you can never win when you're on amateur. You can't ever get your match sharpness quite as high as you would like it to be. That's just how it is. Looks like we are the favorites with both the bookies and the press. Mika Tui, considered to be their key player. He's a winger. That could be a little dangerous, as good wingers can sometimes cause us trouble sneaking in behind us because we don't have fullbacks in this formation. So see if we can get away with this one today. We do have a tunnel interview here. What do they want to know? You've chosen to leave out Owota Ale out of the starting 11. When can we expect him to get his first start for the club? That's a good question. Probably in our next game. I wouldn't imagine you will have to wait too long. I don't want to risk throwing him off, so I'm just going to say let's just talk about it when we get to it, shall we? Okay, so the opposition instructions here, it looks like they're going with a 4-5-1. They're maybe going to park the bus against us. They do have two wingers on each side of the pitch, a little bit worrying. But hopefully, we'll see. We haven't played against a lot of 4-5-1, so I'm really not sure what to expect here. Maybe I'll need to drop back into our more defensive tactic. I don't know. Wasn't really expecting to see a 4-5-1 from them. They never used it last year. Very interesting. Well, we'll see what happens when we get to that. So as for the team talk here, guys, my assistant says we should encourage them to kick on. I'm not sure I want to go with a team such as ours option because I don't want to put too much pressure on them, and I'm not sure that we are really the better team than Lakena United. It's probably a wash. Let's just tell them good luck. Good luck, guys. Do your best. I believe in you. I have faith in all of you guys. We are going to start off this season on the right foot, and hopefully it's going to end with us collecting that trophy. As usual, I need to remember to turn off my sound so that you guys don't get a loud blast from the referee's whistle. I've remembered today, though. We are wearing our change kit once again, as we frequently do against Lakena United, because they also wear red and black, however, without the orange. We are starting things off here on the left wing. Pearson and Eliu trying to combine, but that highlight comes to nothing, as the opening highlight of the game usually does. So Lakena United, it appears that they have a highlight here. Their center forward, Timo, has that. He sprayed that out to the wing, rather. Can't tell if they'll be able to get a cross in. That's well done from Pearson to disrupt that, at least push the ball out wide. Alisana intercepts that long ball. So far, we're manning the barricades. Timo, oh dear, that's a horrific defensive error. I believe that was Tito Tui. Blocked that shot, but he blocked it right into the path of Samaya coming on the left wing. And that was really more of a free shot than anything. Luckily, Tapase comes good for us once again, the goalkeeper. What a player Tapase's been. Just miles better than Joshua Valawaga. By the way, Joshua Valawaga was picked up by a different A-Division team. I believe Tamanuku. Oh, Lapayo has a chance. Oh, Lapayo's finishing has been pretty poor in this preseason, continuing on from last year. He's still creating a lot of chances, he's had a bunch of assists, but yeah. At any rate, Valawaga, signed by Tamanuku, I'm pretty sure was the team, so we'll see. I wonder if we have a Tamanuku game. We'll check the fixture list at the end of this game, see if we're going to have a Tamanuku game anytime soon. Tui's got a lot of space here. Can we fashion something from this? He can center it. Moeaga, oh dear, didn't have to take that first time. He was aiming for the corner, just a little bit too high. Just got under the shot too much. Free kick here. Timo's going to collect that. It's a little bit too wide for him to shoot. Well centered, but Tapugao manages to clear that away. You can tell I live in Minnesota, making all kinds of hockey references. They have scored. Timo, rather, looked like Tapugao Jr. just lost him, let the ball fly over his head. We are 1-0 down. Looks like there's a little bit of rain coming down, which I'm surprised. I didn't notice that in the match preview. Looks like the 3D match engine has a little bit of an error as there's some skating going on. But at any rate, yeah, pretty shambolic defending just with that ball over the top. This is not the end of the world. I knew that Lakena United are a good team. I think the bookies far overestimated our chances, and they could have a break here. Lakena United, they won the Independence Cup last year. This is a team that can and does win silverware, which is not something that we can say. And now maybe we have a break? No. So honestly, I'd be happy with a draw here. At this point, I need to make up my mind about whether to switch over to the more conservative tactic. I think we're going to leave it because in the preseason we saw, we concede goals at our end, but we then can come and create more at the other. So I'm going to leave it on this attacking Owendo formation and no highlights at the end of that half, and that's frustrating. Should we make any changes? How's everyone looking on condition? Pearson looking a little low, but he's on a 6.8. I really don't want to bring him off. Naisali Alisana, the guy I was praising to the heavens, as a star for the future on a 6.3. It's been pretty poor. Tapugao Jr. not considered to be at fault for that goal, clearly, as he's still on a 6.8. Usually, if you commit a mistake that leads to a goal, that's going to have a huge effect on your match rating. I don't know if I always trust the match ratings in FM. I don't think we're going to make any changes, honestly, guys. Let's just stick with the team. Tell these guys, you're doing okay. If this is where we've been unlucky. I feel we've been unlucky, and I think we should say in the team talk, hey, fellas, we've just been unlucky. Don't sweat it too much. Keep going out there, and you can still win this one. Come on, guys. You're doing fine. I have faith in you. Completely believe you've got what it takes. All right, let's get the second half started. We need to get a goal right here out of halftime. It did seem like in the start of the friendlies we were performing a little bit better in the second half than in the first, and hopefully that is something that will continue here. Nothing comes from the kickoff highlight, as is common. And perhaps we have a highlight here. Aliu Tui. Aliu whips that ball in. I thought maybe it would fall to Lapayo. Moeaga fashions a shot on target. That's very nice to see. Looked like he had to react to that pretty quickly, but he did force a save out of their keeper, Kautara. So that's pretty good. I do have an idea. I remember looking when I did the starting 11, I remember thinking to myself, what happens if we put Moeaga over here at defensive forward and move Tui into the middle? Because Tui's very good as a poacher. So let's see if this does anything. If this helps us at all. I'm a little apprehensive about dropping back, because if Moeaga's in that defensive forward role on defend duty, he's going to be dropping back into midfield all the time, and I'm not sure for a target man like him that really suits his playing style, but it might be useful to put Tui somewhere where he's going to be in front of the goal mouth a little more. So nothing happening so far. I think we do need to make a change here. Moeaga has been pretty poor, and I'm wondering if bringing on... we need to organize these. I wonder if bringing on Feoto is going to be the right decision. Let's give him a shot. He scored in the last match. Feoto, I think, is probably going to be better at poacher. Yep. So let's just move Tui back. We didn't seem to have any positive results in the 6 minutes that we were playing Tui at poacher. So let's put Feoto where he can hurt them the most. Come on, boy. We just need this youngster to come in and do something good for us. Should I give him the aggressive team talk? I want to see a good performance from you. All right. Well, at least he hasn't looked too stressed. That's always a worry when you give people the aggressive team talk as they're walking on for the substitutions. Still nothing here. We do have a highlight. Eliu can't make anything happen from that set piece opportunity. And Eliu maybe dipping down from his good form at the start of the year. We are staring at a 1-0 loss here, and we do need to make something happen, and I'm a little bit at a loss as to how to do it. Eliu on a 6.4. Very bad. Let's bring on Stanley. We talked about him a little bit in the preview to this episode. His technicals are horrible, but he can do some things right in the physical and mental department. And now is as good a time as ever to prove to the fans why you were a decent signing. I have faith in you, buddy. Come on. Seems to be in a positive mood. All right. So, looks like we have about 16 minutes left here against Lakena United. Lapayo should finish this, and he does. I thought perhaps he was just going to dwell on the ball for too long. Seemed to take forever while he stood over it, but I'd rather, I guess, he do that than shoot too early and panic. Alasana hammers this against the wall, bit of a scrum in the box. Lapayo has all day to think about where he wants to put it. He takes his time, slots it into the postage stamp. Great finish. Great finish, and we are level here. Let's see if we can't kick on and win this. We do have a highlight here. Alasana puts that well wide. Dreadful attempt. And it looks like we're going to have a highlight straight from that. Tui is racing down the wing for them. Can we shut him down? Looks like he's been pushed out wide. Tapagao Jr. does extraordinarily well to strip him. Just get rid of it. Just hoof it out. Oh, Tui's recovered that. That's very poor from Tapagao. And that shot really should have gone in from Samaya over on Lakena United's left. Great opportunity for them. Okay, it looks like we do need to take Fakasega off. So we're going to use our last substitution here, risking FM Cheese, but Fakasega I don't think has been very good, and he is completely exhausted. Who can we bring on in midfield? Oh dear, we don't really have any good midfield options. Salau I've been training in... I've had him working on individual training on a ball-winning midfielder sort of role. You know what? I have an idea. Let's move Pearson up here so that we're playing in sort of a diamond 3-4-3. Sure, you can be on attacking or advanced playmaker. And then Salau we're going to bring in for Fakasega just to give him, if anything, we'll just give him some match experience here. We want to set his role to ball-winning midfielder on support because I want him to get forward and try and create a little bit. Salau, really, I think his star rating, according to my assistant, is half a star for the first team. He's terrible. He's very bad. He played a lot last year, if you guys will remember. The center back spent most of the year in the first team, but now with all of our incoming signings, he's really been sort of relegated to the bench. But if we can train him in a different position, it might be useful to have him in the team as cover. And both my assistant and I, having looked at his attributes, thought, he could do a job as a ball-winning midfielder. So maybe he can do something. Here he is on the ball now. CO has lost out in that challenge, and it looks like they can break here. That's a woeful shot from Vailele. Took it from much too far out, and we luckily watched that fly over the bar. Tofikai Pearson in a more familiar position. He's playing as an attacking midfielder. That's one of his native positions. Oh dear. Tapase misses that, and it hits the post. We are under a fair bit of pressure here from Lakena United. Should I be switching back to the more defensive Tangako? Timo scores. And it looks like we have lost this opening match of the 2017 season here to Lakena United. Not the end of the world, but for a team like us that wants to challenge for the title, this simply will not do. And perhaps it was a tactical miscalculation to try and go for the jugular by using this very attacking Owendo formation that I had so many problems with last season. And it's full time. So yeah, probably, I think this one is on me. I probably should not have used such an aggressive attacking formation. I read too much into its successes in the preseason friendlies. And I will be using the Tangako, much more defensively solid Tangako formation from here on out, guys. Because this was an atrocity. We're going to have to give the players the blow dryer treatment. Sorry, fellas, but that was very poor. Nobody's reacted well to it except for some of the substitutes. That's horrible to see. So yeah, this is all together a very long, very anticlimactic, bad episode, guys. Imasu Timo getting a brace for Lakena United. Horrific result. Yeah, we were the worst team in just about every department, I think, if you look at here. We did actually fashion more shots, both on and off target, had higher possession. So that is even more disappointing when you think about it, given that we were the better team in a lot of ways, and yet we just let Lakena United do what they needed to do to get the result. So yeah, guys, a 2-1 defeat to Lakena United here. They do get their first win ever over us. There's a first time for everything, and the first time was today. So yeah, let's have a look forward at the fixture list here. I said we were going to look for a Tamanuku game. We don't have one until way off in the distance. Interesting, we have like 2 consecutive Tamanuku games interrupted by the Christmas Cup. So yeah, that we will not be doing that. We'll probably be aiming for something closer to the Independence Cup. First round, I didn't show any Independence Cup games last year, and so perhaps this is a good option here. If it turns out that one of these teams in this region is really close to us in the table, we might do one of these in the A division. But for now, tentatively, I will see you guys in another game against Nauti, one of our they have to be considered a developing rival at this point. Nauti in the Independence Cup. So, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, please subscribe, and please come back for episode 9 of The Triumph.